I'm Patricia Bannan, and welcome to our first episode of Alternative Health. Now, this series is about you, your health, your lifestyle, and your choices. The heart of the series explores non-traditional medical therapies. Now, these were once viewed as foreign or even a counterculture activity. Integrative medicine is now part of mainstream American life. In the last 2 years alone, more than 87 million Americans have successfully used some kind of non-traditional medical treatment. And by combining traditional and alternative therapies, millions of people are taking an active role in improving their lives and their health. We'll examine different aspects of these fascinating industries every week with segments on lifestyle, diet, and health. And each week, we'll take an in-depth look into a special alternative medical therapy and see how it changed the life of someone just like you. This week, we'll examine Bioenergetic synchronization technique, or BEST, and how it helped change the life of Eileen Fitzgerald. Eileen was 6 months pregnant when she found out she had cancer. Advised by her doctor that her only option was to terminate her pregnancy and start chemotherapy, Eileen faced the toughest decision of her life. Would she abort her own baby to save her life? Or would she bring the baby to full term and most probably die? Well, more about Eileen and BEST later in the show. But first, let's head to one of the most popular organic restaurants in New York City. I'm standing outside the Urban Kitchen in the Soho district of New York City. The owner, Adam Rudiman, has been serving up the finest organic fare since 1994. We're going to learn about the value of organic ingredients and some of the healthiest oils used for cooking. Adam, explain for us, what exactly is organic, and is it really more healthy?
Sure. Organic means a growing system, a farming system, that doesn't rely on synthetic pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, basically chemicals. What makes organic food healthier is the fact that you not have any chemicals in the food. A lot of people think that chemicals and pesticides in particular are only on the outside of food and that can be washed off. Well, in fact, that's not true. When you spray a plant, it gets into the soil and gets into the water, which is what the plant drinks, so it's actually in the plant at the cellular level.
Now, the Food and Drug Administration just came out with new regulations on organic. Can you tell us about that? What does that actually mean?
The federal government has been studying organic regulations for 12 years, since 1990. And the law was passed and it's finally been implemented. What it does is it creates a federal standard for what it means to be organic. And this is very important because it means everybody's now playing on the same playing field.
For the home cook, if they wanted to change one element of their diet to make it more healthy, what would you recommend?
The single most important thing as far as preparation of food is they're going to omit fried foods. Fried foods are very dangerous to the body because of the high temperatures to which oil is taken, and they change the molecular structure. And that causes damage inside the body, which is hard to repair and leads to increased aging.
There's so many oils out there. What type of oil would you recommend using?
What you want to look for in oil is a monounsaturated. Monounsaturates are things like olives, almonds, avocados. These are very healthy foods, and they're very protective at the cellular level of the body. These compare to polyunsaturates, which would be margarine, and saturated fats. Saturated fats can be either vegetable, they can come from coconut or palm oil, or they can be saturated from animal sources, butter, for example, or lard. So to the extent that you're able to use a vegetable oil and a monounsaturated, like an extra virgin olive oil, you'll be a lot better off. Extra virgin olive oil in particular has a nice green color to it. That tells you it's full-bodied and fresh. When you store olive oil, you want to use a dark container like a can or dark glass because it is sensitive to light and the light will break it down over time. We use a lot of olive oil here, so we use a clear container because we want people to see the color of it. So you only want to use extra virgin olive oil on things that you're cooking, like vegetables, you're sauteing. You don't want to use it in baking because it will impart too much flavor to your baked goods. So when you're baking, we recommend canola oil.
What is the mission here at Urban Kitchen?
What we try to do here is not only use healthy ingredients, but food that's just really tasty. The entire reason that I, in fact, got into the food business has to do with the difference between an organic tomato and a conventional tomato. When I first tasted an organic tomato, it was a life-changing experience because it was vine ripened and it was bursting with juice and flavor and color and aroma. After that experience, I was curious as to why organic products tasted better. And the more research I did, the more I realized that if you don't add chemicals to food and you allow it to be grown naturally and to ripen, it's going to have a lot more flavor.
Thank you, Adam. And I think I know what I'm going to do this weekend. I'm going to head to the farmer's market and get some organic fruits and vegetables. Bioenergetic synchronization technique, or BEST, was developed in the mid-1970s by chiropractor Milton Mortar. Now, BEST practitioners believe that emotional, mental, and physical disturbances change the course of energy flow in the body, and this results in disease. Now, through the use of special techniques, BEST practitioners believe that they can help the body to heal itself. We'll meet with one of the leaders in the BEST field, Dr. Michael Binyat, when we come back.
She had me put my fingers on this lump on her throat, and she said, "Oh, it's nothing."
Anytime you hear cancer, people just think that there's very little margin for recovery.
I was very afraid of losing her.
When we first found out that she had Hodgkin's disease, it was, oh my God, we're going to lose a daughter.
When people hear the word cancer, it can sound like the end of the world. Eileen Fitzgerald had a loving marriage, a successful career, and she was pregnant with her first child when the unthinkable happened. She found out she had Hodgkin's disease. Hodgkin's disease has 4 stages, and the location of the tumors help to define what stage the disease is in. For Hodgkin's, it's the lymphatic system. In stage 1, tumors exist in a couple of lymph nodes that are next to each other. If you go to stage 2, then you have tumors in 2 different chains of lymph nodes, either above or below the diaphragm. If you have chains of lymph nodes affected both above and below, that's stage 3. And stage 4, which is the most advanced stage, means that the cancer has gone from the lymph nodes to other organs of the body, like the lungs or liver.
When we went to see the results of the test from the surgeon on the biopsy, he told us he had some bad news, and that it was Hodgkin's disease. And the first thing he said after that is, you might have to make a decision about having this baby.
Eileen's cancer had already advanced to stage 3. Pregnant, torn between wanting to have a healthy baby and her husband's fear of losing her, Eileen struggled with her choices: traditional chemotherapy or using an alternative approach.
Hodgkin's disease was a uniformly fatal illness many years ago. About 30 years ago, it became the first disease we could actually cure with chemotherapy. So it has been a revolution, and that's why actually this disease is so famous. And this is disease that oncologists like to treat because we can do something about it. We have 2 weapons to treat Hodgkin's disease. We have chemotherapy, which is usually a combination of drugs, and the chemotherapy drugs are basically like antibiotics. They go and kill the bacteria, and the chemo goes and kills the cancer cells. And you use the radiation therapy, which is very powerful energy that is beamed at the Hodgkin disease tumors. I can totally understand the patient's fear from chemotherapy. On the other hand, what also patients don't understand very well is that chemotherapy is not one kind of treatment. There are plenty of different drugs, different combination, different doses. So chemotherapy is not one kind of treatment. It's the name of a series of different treatments, and each one will have different side effects, different tolerance. So we need to demystify this word and tailor it to the patient's need.
I'm here with Dr. Michael Binyat. He is a bioenergetic synchronization technique master. He's also board certified in occupational health and board eligible in sports chiropractic. Dr. Binyat, what is BEST?
Well, BEST, first of all, stands for the Bioenergetic Synchronization Technique. And it's a physical yet non-forceful approach in chiropractic that balances energy in the body by removing interferences that are preventing that proper energy flow.
Now, I know Dr. Mortar has a 2-week intensive program for people who are really sick. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
He focuses on the emotional interferences, the nutritional interferences, and the physical interferences. The nutritional area has to do with how you eat, what do you drink that makes your body more acid. In terms of emotional, he addresses how do you relate to the fact that you have this disease. It makes you focus on continually forgiving things that bother you, and also making you focus on what are the lessons, seeing the good in what you're being challenged with. And the last thing, physical, he addresses how stress can imbalance your nervous system, which results in muscle imbalances, muscles that are tight, which normally should not be. Like when you're sitting at a desk, you're being stressed with, oh, I got to get this done, and your back tightens up all of a sudden.
What does Dr. Mortar mean when he says the body is perfect, that any disease state is actually a reflection of that perfection?
The body is designed to survive, you see. So whatever choices you make in your lifestyle, there will be certain consequences. So certain things we're finding out lead to disease, other things enhance health.
I know you use nutritional supplements with people. How do these nutritional supplements help boost the immune system?
We really believe that the body heals, you see. So we're trying to support it to do that on its own. This is from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and what they found from a Senate document is that when you look at spinach, for example, in 1940, there was 158 milligrams of iron in 100 grams of spinach. In 1965, they found there was 27 milligrams. And today, 2.2 milligrams of iron in 100 grams of spinach. The spinach was devitalized, deficient, because of our farming practices, because of the pollution. So we need to add things to make sure that it's complete, so at least your body's getting all the nutrients it needs for proper function.
What is the role of chiropractic adjustments in the BEST system, and how does that differ from traditional chiropractic techniques?
With the bioenergetic synchronization technique, there is no physical manipulation. The BEST is similar to any other types of energy modalities, like acupressure, acupuncture, homeopathy, that type of family of healing.
Prevention versus treatment. How is the fight against cancer changing to reflect a new emphasis on target and control?
Why focus so much on the disease versus trying to find out what is the cause of the disease? What are the things that you're doing in terms of that you have choice, that you have control over, that makes a difference?
Can you tell me about Eileen Fitzgerald's case? How did she use this program and how did it help her?
In Eileen's case, she got the bioenergetic synchronization technique. She also made some changes in terms of her nutrition. She also added some supplements to her diet. And also she addressed the cause, the things that were experiences in the past that were in memory, which were affecting how her body was responding today, to basically ultimately allow her to function better.
Thank you, Dr. Bannan.
My problem with that is that all the alternative therapies almost have not been proven to be effective or have not been studied enough to say that they are dangerous or helpful. And they're being offered left and right. But the role of complementary medicine in traditional hospitals is definitely increasing. A number of institutions have a department of alternative and complementary medicine. So I think this is wonderful because it is done in a scientific way. So we will learn something from it and we'll be able to sort out what is helpful and what is not. I think it's important that we don't look at patients who want to go that way like crazy people or insane people. We should sit down and talk about it with them. We should give them our opinion about it and respect how they feel about it. And that will help them make choices.
Cancer may sound like the end of the world, but it wasn't the end of Eileen's world. We'll learn the rest of her story when we come back. Welcome back to Alternative Health. Eileen Fitzgerald was always very athletic growing up in suburban New Jersey, and she always wanted to have children. Rugby brought Eileen Fitzgerald and Larry Menahart together. Eileen was studying chiropractic medicine at Life Chiropractic College in Atlanta, Georgia, where she was the athletic trainer for the school's rugby team. Larry was a nationally prominent rugby player and a successful local contractor. They fell in love, got married, and made a home in Stone Mountain, an Atlanta suburb.
When I first found out Eileen was pregnant, obviously I was very happy for her.
It took longer than we thought it was going to, so yeah, we were both very happy.
She was visiting at my house, and she had me put my fingers on this lump on her throat, and she said, oh, it's nothing. You know, she was really confident it was nothing, and she was, you know, said they're always exaggerating things, and, you know, she was annoyed with the her OBGYN.
When I saw her neck, it was like unbelievable because lump was probably as big as my fist. And I just thought there was really no hope. At one point, Eileen was told by a doctor that she should consider an abortion.
The doctor who she was under the care of wanted her to abort the baby and then start chemo immediately.
My dad had cancer, and he died of cancer, and his twin brother died of cancer, and my mother's father died of cancer. So it was, you know, it was very scary.
There's no way I was going to abort the baby. I was 38. I was going to be 38 when he was born, and I just would never do it anyway. I would rather sacrifice myself.
I just thought it was too big a chance to take not to go ahead.
My husband wanted me to get the chemotherapy because his father had died of cancer, and he had a sister that had also passed away. And I think inside he was panicking because he, you know, didn't want to lose somebody else.
I know Eileen had a big struggle because being a chiropractor herself, there was such a pull towards non-traditional medicine. I was hoping that she could do it naturally, but I was also very impatient, and I thought perhaps chemo was the way.
I did not want to get chemotherapy, and I was going to fight as much as I could not to get the chemotherapy.
I went along with Eileen. That was her decision, really. I mean, I couldn't make up her mind. I told her what I had hoped, but she said she could get through the pregnancy with it.
When we were down in the clinic in Arkansas seeking the alternative healing method of bioenergetic synchronization, initially, of course, there was skepticism.
Dr. Morton believes that the body is perfect and what causes it to become ill. And so it's the things that we put into it.
For the best treatment, the thing that came up, the thing that she was holding inside, we were talking about thoughts and emotions, was that she needed to be home.
She was going to a best chiropractor, so she was dealing with her emotions on a real energetic, deep energetic level. She was drinking lots of green juices, eating organic food, and her blood work was staying the same and actually improving by the end of her 42 weeks with Kevin's pregnancy.
After I had Kevin, well, Dr. J, she said to me, Eileen, I'm not talking to you as a doctor now, I'm talking to you as a friend. You need to do the chemotherapy because you don't want a baby without a mother.
Here she had this brand new baby, and she still had cancer in her body, and she just really wanted to get it out of her.
When she did decide to do the chemo afterwards, which I can totally understand in one way. I mean, I was fearful for her because then it was really real, and that, you know, we were going to see like these physical side effects on her that's really, really scared me. But I understood it because she wanted to be there for her son. She wanted to see him grow up and see, you know, his life.
She really didn't want to go through the chemo and radiation. I mean, if it wasn't for me, I don't know if she would have gone through it.
My regimen every day was that I would drink my carrot juice, have the barley, and I would go for a lot of walks. I wanted to keep my body in shape as best as I could. After the second session, my hair fell out. And that was pretty traumatic. I didn't realize that my eyebrows had fallen out, my eyelashes. The hardest part about the chemotherapy was that I knew it would affect how I would be able to take care of the baby. So I just wanted to be able to take him for walks.
She was dragging, walking up the tiny little incline of the driveway. I just couldn't believe the physical shape that she was in.
She went through the chemo and it was successful, very successful.
I have a deeper appreciation for medical doctors now. I always didn't trust them that much before, but now I feel like I trust them more now, and most of them are truly interested in helping their patients get well.
And Kevin, pride and joy. He's adorable, and gosh, if he had never been born, we would have missed so much.
Right now, it's hard even thinking of that. Well, that was another part of our lives. It's been over for a few years. It takes a strong person to get through something like that. What she did with taking Kevin through the full 9 months and having a natural birth, that was a hard decision to make. A lot of people wouldn't have done that, wouldn't have taken that chance.
Had I not been pregnant with Kevin, I probably would have explored the alternative methods a lot more, but I had to go with the sure way to get rid of this disease in my body because I had to consider Kevin, that he needed me to take care of him. I think the combination of alternative treatment and the chemotherapy, the prayers, the visualization, the positive thoughts and energy, I think that just all contributed to me getting well and making it through. Ever since, I have just been fine. You know, I go to the oncologist now and he goes, you're fine, get out of here. I think the alternative path that I chose was a success because the disease did not progress any further and my son was born a beautiful, healthy baby.
Alternative medicine, traditional medicine, they both did their part in us keeping our daughter.
If one doctor says, you're gonna die in 6 months, you don't have to believe that. Go to somebody else. Keep going to people until you get someone that you feel comfortable with.
Got to take charge of your life and not let it be run by somebody else.
Because if you take charge of your own life, you just feel empowered.
By following her alternative therapy, Eileen believes that she was able to successfully deliver a healthy baby. And with the help and support of her friends and family, she was able to overcome a huge life challenge. It's been 6 years and she's still cancer-free. By asking hard questions and educating herself, Eileen was able to make the right choices that suited her life. Eileen endured, and she triumphed.
Welcome to the Alternative Health Hint, brought to you by the good people at PNC, People's Nutritional Centers.
Yoga is considered both a science and an art in India. The word yoga means to unite or to make whole. Special breathing practices and body postures are central in yoga. Beginners can focus on body alignment and physical awareness, then progress to greater integration of breath and movement, and then finally they can work on strength and stamina building. I'm here with Patricia Sanzo, who's a yoga instructor in New York City. Patricia, what are some of the benefits of yoga?
There's many benefits of yoga. On the physical level, it gives you more flexibility, it makes you very stable emotionally, mentally it quiets the mind, and spiritually it can be very healing.
How long would you have to devote to yoga a day just to get a benefit from it?
Good question. Most people think they have to spend 2 hours on their mat, and that's probably why they don't do it. So my teacher sort of uses the joke of dental flossing. It takes a few minutes, but you have to do it consistently every day.
Well, thank you. I'm feeling relaxed just talking to you. Thank you for joining me on Alternative Health. Join us next week as we find out how tantric sex helped save Carol Connor's marriage. Until then, remember that healthy choices contribute to healthy living.